When I was pregnant with Emmanuel, our third child, doctors told us that everything and anything was wrong with him. That there were so many things that were going to be complications in the future. And when we went to see a specialist down at Marshfield, they said, how come we didn't have an ultrasound done sooner, because we could have, terminated the pregnancy at an early stage, but since I was so far along, it was too risky. But, I just looked at the doctor like, why would you even think that? But after I left the doctor's office, what I did was go on the internet, go on WebMD and look up every condition that the doctor had listed. And even though he said those were the worst case scenarios, I think that when somebody tells you a diagnosis, you always think that you are going to be that worst case scenario. And from everything I learned, everything I read online, it just seemed like he was not going to have a good life. Like his life was going to be filled with surgeries. They were going to have to do something in his brain and put in a shunt to relieve pressure from fluid. I mean, it just seemed like he was going to have a complicated life. And
when she told me what the doctor said and everything, that's another problem I had with not being able to control anything. I didn't know, and she was freaking out, and I could have freaked out myself, but I said there's no reason for us both to freak out. So I held it in, and it was so hard. I wanted to yell, I wanted to cry, because I didn't want to lose another child. I didn't want to lose a child. I didn't want to have to deal with that, and so I had to be strong for the both of us, and I gave it to him. I said, I'm not going to do anything. It's all in your hand.
I just remember sitting there crying for almost an entire day and then just saying, okay, now you're done. You let your human side, take over. But, I felt peace. Like I felt like God said, gave me a pat on the back and said, it's okay. Go ahead and cry, but now just accept it. And then from there on, it was just really, that's it. We need to accept it for what it is, and we don't know what the reason is now, but we will eventually. We had to go every 2 weeks down to Marshfield and see a specialist, and they would do a different type of sonogram with like a more high-tech machine, and every 2 weeks we went, the ventricles in his brain kept growing. And then just one day I went in and the doctor said, so what are you going to name him? And we told him Emmanuel. And then he told me, I know what that means because I have a Jewish background. And he goes, that name is perfect because God is with him, because there's nothing wrong with him anymore. It definitely, I think, having faith will help you be a military wife, because things are changing every day. We got here and 4 months later they told us we had to move. Carl's been, training after training. A lot of people think I'm a single mom, but, I'm not, and I do have a husband. It's just he has a job that he has to do, and, we're very proud of what he does. He loves what he does, and he truly believes in defending our country.
The kind of faith it takes to be in the military is you have to truly believe that what you're doing, he wants you to be doing it. Because if he didn't, you wouldn't have that peace in your heart. You wouldn't be happy. And I do truly have a peace in my heart. I'm happy doing my job for the military. I love my job. I like helping people. I believe in this country. Every country has its negative points, but in the U.S., you can come here and really make a name for yourself. And I truly believe in that.